Doing more sales calls won't increase your sales. When I first started out in sales with very little training, I was told to go out and make as many sales calls as possible. And so I did, but I didn't make many sales. I discovered later that that advice was the worst thing to do. I know that traditionally salespeople are taught to go out and make as many calls on people as possible because it's a numbers game. The more people you see, the more sales you'll make. So I get why you might think that's what you should do. But consider this. If doing lots of sales calls guaranteed sales success, then every salesperson that did lots of sales calls would be successful, right? But that's just not the case. Having many sales calls is one thing. Being able to get the sale, well, that's just another thing altogether. Imagine if you were playing tennis and your coach just tells you to hit lots of balls without teaching you how to hold the racket to hit the ball correctly, as well as the strategies and techniques. You may hit a lot of balls, but you won't necessarily win the game. In sales, the real goal is to win the sale, not to have lots of unproductive sales calls. So many entrepreneurs and business owners end up running themselves ragged, talking to every man and his dog about their products, and all that they end up with is sore feet and a hoarse voice. Wouldn't it be better to have a quality sales call with someone who needs your product, where the conversation is of value to both parties and it's more likely to result in a sale? I understand how important it is to make a sale, not to mention how good it feels. But I also understand how bad it feels when you're running around making sales calls all day, but you're not getting the sale. It sucks. And that's why I want to share with you how to get more sales by doing fewer sales calls. Because let's face it, our time is precious, so we need to learn how to spend it wisely. Wouldn't you agree? So what do successful business owners and entrepreneurs spend their time on? I know for a fact that they make one thing a priority, and that's planning. I know it's not glamorous, but hey, it works. First, they make sure that with every sales call that they're in front of the right prospect. And how do they do that? Well, they take the time to know who their ideal client really is and where they hang out. They spend time researching and planning for the best way to get in front of them. It's not a shot in the dark. No, it's planned and it's very targeted. They have a spotlight on their ideal client and they don't waste time talking to people who are not identified as being ideal for their product. And secondly, they spend more time planning what they're going to do and say when they're in front of their ideal prospect. Think of it like a Broadway show. The actors don't just have a quick meeting backstage before a production, do they? No, they spend weeks, if not months, planning exactly what they're going to say and do when they're on stage performing for you. They want to make sure that they get their message and their story across to you in a professional manner that informs, entertains, and gets the applause. Think of your sales call like a performance, and you are the main character. You have a clear planned message that you want to deliver to your prospect, the audience. In most situations, not all, the sale is the goal, much like the applause. If you want the applause, you will need to plan exactly how you're going to get it. And in sales, the best way I know to get a sale is to have a sales plan, much like an actor uses choreography and scripts. When you plan the structure of your sales call and you know exactly what you're going to say to open up the conversation and which quality questions you're going to ask to elicit information that you need, and which elements are you going to bring in so that you can back up what you're saying, as well as handle any sales objections that might come up. Do that and you will significantly increase your chances of making the sale. And finally, just like actors who rehearse over and over so that their performance is engaging, convincing, and they get the applause, so too must you plan to rehearse your sales presentation to ensure that it is the best performance that you can give. So, do you want to continue to waste a lot of precious time having unproductive sales conversations, which just leaves you exhausted and discouraged and not getting the sale? Or do you want to be the sales entrepreneur that makes planning a priority and gets the sale without having to make tons of sales calls? If you do, and you want to learn more about how to implement sales planning, then hit the follow or subscribe button and type yes in the comments below. Thank you for watching.